Hey, DNA Strand Crew, TJ here from the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be bringing you a last-minute pre-NFL draft sell show. Should be an awesome episode. Join us, won't you?
Welcome to the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, where we talk Dynasty Fantasy Football, fantasy rankings, and everything NFL. Join us and dominate your Dynasty League. It's in your DNA. And here's your host, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand Crew. Yes, I'm the host of the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, TJ Blake. You can find me on Twitter at TJ Blake DNA. And as always, we're joined by our show architect and co-host, the A-Train Andy Blake. You can find him on Twitter at A-Train DNA. How you doing today, Ann?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. And next in the line of order, we got the producer and co-host, Ty Blake. You can find him on Twitter at Dynasty DNA. Ty, how you doing today, Ty?
Pretty good. How's it going, guys?
Well, we're doing good. And last but not least, it's a better than a flea market salesman. It's Muscles Ryan Mail. You can find him on Twitter at Dynasty DNA. Mus, how you doing today, Mus?
Not too bad. What's happening?
Oh, we're doing good. And I'll tell you guys, Andy is not doing good. He's got a toothache today. He's a warrior. He's going through this to get through this show for you guys. So bear with us. I mean, the poor guy's in a lot of pain, but I'll tell you, he's one tough son of a bitch. So we'll be okay.
Nothing worse than a damn toothache.
I know, man. I hope you get feeling better. Hopefully the antibiotics and everything kick in.
Yeah, I hope so.
That sucks. We appreciate you being here. I know the listeners appreciate you being here.
Definitely.
And we're gonna get things started here. First thing we're gonna mention, of course, as always, is the Bijan Robinson signed mini helmet sweepstakes. Guys, we're about a week away from giving this bad boy away. Got a couple more takers today on it. A couple ways you can win on this thing. If you go over to Twitter, follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Check us out and also retweet a pic of the helmet pick, and you could be entered once to win. Check us out over at YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and you could be entered twice. So you have two chances to win. We're 1 week away. We're getting so close to giving this thing away. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a live show first round of the NFL draft. We're going to keep you guys all posted on how that's going over there. But if you want to enter, you have a good chance to win this thing, and we're ready to give it away. It's going to be a lot of fun. The whole contest is. So
for sure.
Looking forward to that. Also want to mention again, guys, we're teaming up with Peak One Sports Network. A lot of good guys over there. They got a lot of good stuff over there, sports related. I mean, you like sports, anything, hockey, MMA, golf, football, basketball. Go over there. It's really awesome. Ashton over there is an awesome dude. He's running a really good thing over there at Peak One Sports Network. You won't be disappointed in that. I watched I listened to a podcast they had about like teams relocating to different cities and stuff. It was really interesting.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I really
check that out.
Yeah, guys, check that out. It was really interesting. Like, I mean, just like the philosophy, like how like the fan psychology is on it. Like, do they like former players coming back to like different cities, or would they rather have them come back to like the Oilers? Like they mentioned Earl Campbell. Like, would you like to see Earl Campbell in Tennessee, or would you rather see him in Houston?
Right,
you know. I mean, it kind of is he's such a great player. I'm sure anyone would like to see him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Houston's his home, so, I mean, it's definitely, like, a fun debate. So it's a good show. Them guys are great guys. Go over there and check out all the shows that they endorse and sponsor. You won't be disappointed.
Wonder if Cleveland would like LeBron back.
Well, they took him back once.
Yeah, they took him back once.
Say probably he's about the only relevant player they've ever had in their whole sports city. So.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, yeah.
And
Jim
Kyrie for maybe a season or two.
Yeah.
But before we hop into these sells, guys, you know we're going over here to the breaking news with Mus.
Okay, Dan Snyder sells the Commanders to the Josh Harris Group for $6.05 billion.
Yep, and I kind of figured that it would be done before the draft. I think the NFL wanted them to turn the page, and they got it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chiefs re-signed Justin Watson, 2 years, $6 million.
And, you know, he's kind of like a sneaky, like not really fantasy, but like a good NFL player for the Chiefs. Like, he's done well for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. Browns signed Marquise Goodwin.
Another receiver coming into Cleveland.
Another receiver.
They're dumpster diving since they don't have no picks.
They are. The Cardinals signed. The Cardinals safety, Buda Baker, requests trade.
Yep.
So that's kind of interesting.
Omar Khan, we know that you're pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Let's hope that you're in on
Boy,
him.
could you imagine?
That'd be great.
Jalen Hurts signs 5 years, $255 million, $179.3 million guarantee.
Wow.
Well, if you're Lamar, what are you thinking right now?
Yeah.
I mean, there another guy got his money. So
Yeah.
I know Joe Burrow's licking his chops.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Joe Burrow is going to get paid. Sean Tucker cleared medically, and his pro day will be April 24th.
yeah, well, and I'll tell you, I think he's someone that really needs a pro day. I mean,
Yeah.
to really try to make before this all started. I mean, especially in Dynasty circles, he was pretty high. I know right away we were really down on him. We didn't like him through the process, and he's really went down the boards.
Yeah, yeah. I know he's a big, Devi darling. Everybody liked him
Yeah,
a couple years ago, but, yeah, he's really fallen down. Dolphins signed Chosen Anderson,
all right. The chosen one lands in
and
Miami.
he does.
I don't even see him making the full team. I think he's gonna get cut. Guy sucks.
Very well could. DeMar Hamlin cleared for football activity.
Great,
That's good.
that is
Yeah,
great.
that's really good.
Yep. And the breaking news today, the Steelers get Allen Robinson for swap of 7th-round picks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll give Omar Khan credit. I mean, that could be a whole lot of nothing, but the fact that you were able to acquire a player that has such a good history as Allen Robinson,
Yep.
and all you got to do is swap some 7th-round picks. But it goes back to what Andy said about the Rams. They're obviously in rebuild mode.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to get that contract off the books. That's really all it was.
And hell, they're still paying him $10 million. We
Yeah.
only got to pay $5.
Yeah.
So
That was a real thrifty move.
Really good
Yeah.
deal.
Could be a nice mentor.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario, I mean, he's a bench player, but he helps Pickens and
Right. Deontay.
Deontay and Calvin Austin, and if
Right.
they bring anybody else in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all I got.
All right, Must, appreciate you going over that as always. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, we're getting so close to the draft. I mean, I know that during the draft there's going to be some more trades. I wouldn't be surprised. There's a couple people I know like Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. Them kind of names are lingering around. I could see some moves happening. So we appreciate you going over that for now, keeping us posted on what's going on. We'll see what's coming up during the draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we're going to hop into this show. We're going to go over our pre-NFL draft sells. And, of course, you know we're starting over here with the A-Train first. We're going to go over to him. And your first pre-NFL draft sell, who do you have?
Well, it might be a little bit later to pull the trigger, which I would have earlier if you could have, but it's Rashad Penny. He's 27 years old. His contract is a 1-year, $1,350,000 contract, so he's an easy cut candidate. I've been saying that kind of for a while. I feel maybe he's just a backup plan if they can't get a higher-end running back, out of this draft. Maybe they trade like a 2nd-round pick or something for like a Dalvin Cook or
Yeah.
anything like that's possible. He just has so many speed bumps.
Yeah.
He's a big time risk. Like even just with the free agents and free agency's like over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just as a trade. So even if they don't draft like a Bijan Robinson, who would you rather have? Like he's got all these people in draft: Jahmyr Gibbs, Tajay Spears, Zach Charbonnet, Devon Achane, Kendra Miller, Zach Evans, Roschon. I'd rather have all them guys
So would I.
over Penny. So, and at one time, I know you could get a 2nd-round pick.
And I think you still can.
I think you probably still can as well. The Eagles have picked 10, 30, 62, and 94 in the first 3 rounds. So
That's running back central.
yeah, I mean, especially in that 62, 94, I mean, even 30.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good chance they do draft somebody, and they make a move. I mean, I can definitely see that. His injury history, that's another thing I'm really concerned. Never played more than 14 games in a season in his 5-year career.
Wow.
So, I mean, and he's getting older. So when you get older, do you think you're going to get more healthy, or you're
Exactly.
a little bit more fragile? I mean, look at me. My tooth hurts.
Yeah.
But also, some of the injuries he's had, I mean, broken fibula last year, knee sprain, ankle, ACL, hamstring. I mean, I love Rashad Penny's talent, but injuries and just all these obstacles are just telling me he's a prime cut candidate. He's a prime sell in Dynasty. I just don't really want to hold on to this guy right now. So another thing I was looking at, 2018 is the most games he's ever played, 14. 2019, 10 games. 2020, 3 games. 21, 10 games, and 22, 5 games. I mean, that's not a lot at all. And another thing, I'm just going to end with this. He doesn't catch passes. He's never caught more than 9 passes in a season.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying he can't do it. He just
Hasn't done it.
Hasn't done it. And they have Kenneth Gainwell who can do it.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I think you're just relying on a lot of touchdowns, a lot of in between the tackles where he is going to get hurt, more primed to get hurt. I'd easily take a second-round pick, or I'd use him to upgrade.
Yeah.
You know, can you give your second-round pick and Penny and move up into the first?
Yeah, that would be a great trade.
You know, something like that. So, yeah, I'm just kind of out on Rashad Penny.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, the thing is, though, like, there's so many people that covet him. You know,
Yeah.
like, and like, that's why I think it's a great sell candidate, because I remember last year, like, when we did this was, like, very early. This is one of our very first shows ever. I remember Marlon Mack. Remember when he was getting some buzz and he was getting, like, third round. You were getting third-round picks for him.
Seconds.
Yeah, seconds. I mean, you never would have got that for Marlon Mack. I mean,
Right.
like, until he went to the Texans.
Yep.
Then he got shot into the moon and faded to oblivion.
Yep.
This kind of reminds me of the same thing with Rashad Penny. Like you said many times, and the contract. The
Yeah.
contract alone spooks me.
Yeah, it does me too.
And then you throw in the fact, like I said, there's just so many people that tout him. They want a part of that Philadelphia offense. So, I mean, you get a second.
And there's so many backs already on the roster. I mean,
Right.
they use everybody. They use Boston Scott. They use Gainwell. You know, and it's just. I think it's a perfect time to sell them, especially if you get a second, because everyone sees what Miles Sanders did behind that offensive line, and people get excited. So
And here's the important thing: you're getting a second in a deep running back class.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to keep that in mind. Like, so you're getting rid of a running back. Well, guess what? You're getting a second in a deep running back class.
Yep.
So that's something to keep in mind too. But yeah, the injuries. That's another thing, man. The guy just, I'm like you. He is a good running back. He's got talent, but it's just staying healthy. I know. What do you think of him, Muss? I mean, I know like you're someone that I know likes Penny, but I think you agree with selling, right?
Oh, yeah, I do. I mean, he's one of those, when he's on the field, he's great talent, like everybody said, but he just is always hurt.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But, I mean,
There's just so many people that are poaching the yards. I mean, Jalen Hurts runs. I mean, Boston Scott's a goal line guy.
Yeah. And then with just the unpredictability of like Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
they're bringing somebody in.
You would think so, because they made the Super Bowl last year. And I mean, I think one of them guys could have put them over the top possibly.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they kind of gave the game away. It wasn't the running back's fault, but, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like they got him. It was like one of them, in case of emergency, smashed the glass.
Yeah.
You know,
They
it's one of
probably
them.
run their team a little bit like how we run a dynasty team. So, like, if Rashad Penny was your running back going into a dynasty playoffs, would you feel comfortable?
No.
I'd be like, shit, hopefully he's available next week.
yeah.
And two, like, you made a good point with, like, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, and then you got the draft. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like there's so many things that are up against him right now, and, like, there's still believers out there. So that's why this is the perfect time to strike.
It's kind of weird. Seattle just didn't re-sign him for that deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like a...
Yeah, I mean, back up Kenneth Walker, get a few touches.
Right.
I mean, that is strange. At least you have someone that's familiar with your system.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe they did offer him that. I didn't really look into it. Maybe they offered him a little more, and he said, I want to go to the Eagles.
Maybe.
It's a good possibility, but, yeah, I just can't.
Yeah, and I think just if you could get a second, I mean, you're never going to get that much.
And I'd
out.
probably even take a third, to be honest. Like, especially in, like, a super flex tight end premium.
Yeah.
Take one of these tight ends. Take a gamble. You know?
Yeah, because you're never going to get nothing out of him. Like, this is it to me.
Yeah.
Like, you have an opportunity here because, and you know, you might not. Maybe your league won't be that. You know, maybe your league won't be that good. You
Right.
know, like maybe your league won't be that high on him. Maybe some people's leagues are. You know, that's the thing. Like, it
I
just.
know Twitter was.
Yeah, that's just it. Like, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if you put them, like, on the trade block in your league, maybe you could see if there's some people interested. I think it's worth looking into. I honestly think that you have a good chance to maybe get something out of them.
Yeah, because for some odd reason, there is a following for him. Remember last year we were in that league, and I tried to get Justin Jefferson, and I offered a guy 2 firsts, and he's like,
Jesus Christ.
I offered a guy 2 firsts, and he was like, "Oh, throw in Rashad Penny, and you got yourself a deal." I was like,
Okay.
all right, all right. He goes, "Oh, I love Penny." I'm like,
Yeah. Penny pinching.
He's a penny pincher.
Yep.
"Yeah." I mean, so you're right. I mean, there's people that
Well,
absolutely believe him.
he was a first round pick. So.
Yeah, he's got the talent.
He does, and I think a lot of people. I mean, maybe not so much now, are still on that, like, you know, hoping they can get something out of their investment. But
Yeah,
I'd just cut my losses.
Yep, I agree with you 110%. And I think it's just this is your last chance. If you can get something out of him now, get something out of him now.
And I would do it before the draft.
Oh, yeah. The minute they draft somebody,
it's over.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would put him, if I had him, I'd put him on the trade block now.
Yep.
I agree with you 110%.
And send every owner a trade offer.
Yeah.
Every owner, third, second, whatever. Just send it to all 11 other owners and see if somebody bites.
Definitely.
Really agree.
That's a good one to send out. I like that one. We're going to go over to me here. My first pre-NFL draft sell. This one's going to hit close to home. It's someone that I own on a lot of Dynasty rosters, and it's somebody that's on my personal favorite team. It's Deontay Johnson, wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a variety of reasons why I'm ready to sell Deontay Johnson. Kind of like Rashad Penny. He's got a cult following. There's a lot of people that still like Deontay, and you can see the talent. The talent is there. He's fast. He can get open. I mean, he has a lot of the tools, but he drops so many passes. I mean, the ball hits him in the hands. He's so unreliable. 0 touchdowns last year. I mean, now easily that could improve. Like Andy said, touchdowns are hard to predict. But, I mean, it just goes to show you he's so inconsistent.
Yeah.
Week after week, he's so inconsistent. And then another thing, he always is banged up with injuries. I mean, it might not be nothing major, but it seems like he's always got something minor going on where he'll leave a series or two. Maybe he'll leave the game. It's tough to say, but, I just think, with the Steelers now, too, going into this draft, they did get Allen Robinson. So, I mean, I don't know. And I just don't think if he improves his game, I think he leaves the Steelers next year. Mm-hmm. And if he leaves the Steelers, I think that could be the end for him. We've seen that so many times with Steelers receivers. If you leave the organization, you go to another team, it just seems like it's a disaster. And I just think and I think the perfect trade, me and Tyler are talking about this for Deontay, this is a weak wide receiver class. So, I think the perfect trade is, especially if you're, middle of the road or you're a rebuilder, try to get a 24 first. Yeah. If you're looking to get another receiver to replace him. I mean, I would just go ahead and do that if I could get him out of my team. I don't like the inconsistencies. I see the Steelers are really starting to trend in different directions, bringing some receivers in. And I'm sorry that he got that contract. It isn't a real long contract. And if he doesn't produce this year, I mean, I think they're going to be looking to ship him out.
Yeah, me too.
So I just think that he's not long for there, and I just feel like the time's ticking, and I think that his value's peaked. And I think that's the key when you're trying to sell people. It's hitting where their value peaks. And I honestly, in my opinion, man, Deontay's value's peaking here. I don't think he's got much more time, and I just don't think he's got much more in the ceiling than he showed. I mean, I think he's got an okay floor at times, but he don't have that much of a ceiling. And if you can get a first for him, I'm all for it. So, I mean, I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I traded him to you, Muss, for a late first. I mean, and I think it's fair. I kind of have a lot of receivers. You needed a receiver, a weaker class, but I could really use a running back. So,
right.
I think he's a good person to maybe capitalize on a move like that, especially if you need a running back. But yeah, I mean, I'd sell him for a 24 first. I've never been the biggest Deontay fan.
Me either.
He's somebody, he relies a lot on receptions, and that's fine. I mean, that's good. He didn't score last year. They just seem like anytime they do want to throw the ball downfield, it's to George Pickens.
It seems like that's who Pickett prefers.
Yeah, and then Pat Freiermuth kind of takes a little bit of that red zone work too.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see where he goes. Is he somebody could be moved on draft night?
It's possible.
They know they're not going to sign him, so they just move him.
Yeah, how many years is left on his deal?
I think one.
I think one. Yeah, they signed him to a 2-year. Now, I don't know if that was an extension off of his...
It's either 1 or 2 years, but the point is, I think where I'm at is, if he leaves the Steelers, and you know this, I've seen it so many times, you've seen it, I just don't know if I feel comfortable with him in another situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know.
The only guy really to ever come out of that, from what we remember, is Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else is just kind of hasn't been very good at all ever since leaving. And really, I think his numbers are really inflated in people because Ben made him out to be, such a good player. Because just like Andy said, I think Pickett prefers Pickens and Freiermuth over Johnson. So
yeah, I think he's the third wheel.
Yeah.
And now you got Allen Robinson coming in, and it could be a whole lot of nothing, but if Allen Robinson plays the way he's capable of playing,
definitely.
I mean, it could really damage him even more. And the fact, too, that I call him the paper man or the glass man. He's always hurt.
Yeah.
Every time, and he runs out of bounds. He runs backwards.
He does run back.
Oh, I just had enough of it. You know, I've
fumbles
seen
the football.
Oh, I know. It's just so inconsistent, so sporadic. And I mean, like, it is frustrating, though, because the guy can get open. He runs really good routes.
Yes.
He does a lot of things right, but he does so much wrong when it comes down to it in the end. And I don't know, man. I just don't trust him. And I just think that if he leaves the Steelers, it could be all over. And I think a first is really good value right now.
Yeah, I think it's fair value too.
Yeah, so I'm willing to take a first. And like I said, if I'm hunting a receiver, I don't recommend trying to get a first this year. I would try to get a 24 first. But I mean, all in all, if you want to just get rid of them and get a good quality pick, I think this is the time to do it.
Steelers have him this year and next year. In 2025, he's a free agent.
2025, okay.
So, I mean, he's not long for the Steelers. I mean,
No.
and honestly, if he doesn't produce this year, and I'm sorry, 0 touchdowns, I mean, I mean, hey, it can go up and down. I get that stat, but still, that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it really, I mean, I don't know if it's going to hurt him much either, but Calvin Austin's back this year, too. You know, he's going to get to play, and everyone's talking him up, so.
Boy, I've been playing a little bit of Madden. Boy, he's like a cheat code in Madden.
Calvin Austin.
Oh, he's so fast.
Yeah, it's fast.
Well, I'll tell you guys, I know, Muss, you're kind of on the other side of this ledger. I think you disagree with me a little bit. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just with the no touchdowns, I think, well, I was doing the math here, and even if he had 6 touchdowns, which I think is doable, he's wide receiver 19, which, I mean, I don't think is half bad. I just don't think he's a bad receiver. Yeah, he has his drop problems, but I almost used the opportunity of no touchdowns. I mean, he's wide receiver 30. I almost use the excuse of no touchdowns. People are lower on him than, you know, needs to be. But I don't think he's a superstar or anything.
No.
I'd sell him for a first, too. But
I mean, I just think that's good value. You know, and I mean, I just think that, like I said, you got to sell these guys at the right time. And it might be maybe a year too early, but I don't think you could ever be too far ahead on this stuff.
No, because that's the thing. We don't think he's a superstar. So if you are a year too early, what's he finish? Wide receiver 28?
Yeah.
Wide receiver 25? I mean, it's a wide receiver 3.
Right.
Are you really going to miss out on that production that much?
Yeah. That's just how I'm at with it, so.
Yeah, that league I traded with Andy, I mean, I needed a receiver bad, and I knew this, you know, I had to 111 or 112, and I knew I probably wasn't going to get a receiver there, so.
Yeah, so I like it. Hey, man, like I said, it's trying to get ahead. I think it's fair value. That's the key.
Yeah.
If you're fed up like a lot of us are, I think that's what you want to do if you're looking to move them.
Yep.
We're going to go over here to Ty. Ty, your first pre-NFL draft sell. Who do you have?
Yeah, this isn't going to be a very popular one, especially at this table, because this guy over to my left, and he always has a chub for him. But it's going to be Javonte Williams. And I'm not just doing it to go after Muss. This guy's always been in my doghouse. But first of all, he's coming off the brutal knee injury. We don't know if he's going to be the same guy. You know, some guys we know can come back from it. Some guys can't. Which I do hope for the guy. I hope he comes back and he plays well. Also, a new regiment's come in to Denver. We've seen this before, too, but especially in Jacksonville with, like, James Robinson. They come in, they took their guy in Travis Etienne, and James Robinson's now in New England, and he's just simply not the same player. So I don't know. They may keep Javonte there to be the guy, or they might just bring in another guy, because we've also seen before they're always bringing in these other backs. They're not superstar guys, but they always seem like they always are bringing in different guys to use. They just brought in Samaje Perine, too. He's never been a 1,000-yard rusher. He only has 4 career touchdowns. I don't know, man. Many people, they value Javonte so high, and I'm a guy that I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't trade him for a second-round pick. But if you can get a first-round pick out of him, I would do it. But for a second, I would keep him for that.
And that's good that you got that across, Ty, because I do think that's important. You don't want to undersell these guys. But I do agree with you. I've always been on board with you with being the anti-Javonte train. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just think he's a decent back at best. And, you know, the thing is, man, now you got a guy coming into year 3, like you said, a new regime coming in with Sean Payton, who likes to throw the football, likes pass-catching backs. That makes me uncomfortable. And then you got it coming off that serious knee injury on top of it. And it's a guy that has never really proven that he's like a superstar player.
Right.
So I can see what you're saying with that. What do you think, Ian?
I like Javonte as a player, but I am really worried about this knee. I just am.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Because running backs in the NFL is such a cutthroat, like, you can be really talented
Yep.
and just not ever find a way.
Right.
And I mean, they're saying LCL, ACL,
ECL.
ECL, LLL.
LOL.
But I don't know. Whenever you have 3 letters and the last one's an L, I'm fucking worried. Like,
Yeah.
we got problems. So I'm like you, Ty, though. I really hope for the guy.
Yeah.
He's never been given a fair shake. Like, why the hell are you running Melvin Gordon over him? And then you release Melvin Gordon.
When he's got the chance, he has looked decent.
Yeah, he
really
has looked decent, but I'm like you. If I can get a first, I think it's a little bit risky. He's 22. I would like to know when his birthday is. Is he going to be 24 when he plays again?
Yeah.
I mean, that's still young, but when you're coming back with a bad leg injury, like, should he just reshuffle the deck?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I could see it either way. Like,
And you got Sean Payton coming in, man.
and that worries me too, because what if he does bring somebody else in? It's not his guy.
And honestly, like, and that's what I said, like, and I remember Ty saying this about P. Ryan, like, that's a sneaky player right now.
Yeah.
Like, if I could just get him in a lot of throw-in trades, like, I could see, I mean, look what he did in Cincinnati catching the ball.
Exactly.
But that's what worries me. Like, I think P. Ryan's good. Like okay, not good, but just okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So if they know Javonte is going to miss a lot of the season, they probably are going to bring somebody in or draft somebody.
I would like to see, as like a Broncos fanish, I would like to see Kareem Hunt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would
with Sean
be...
Payton. I mean, he's almost. I don't want to say he's like Galvin Kamara, but he can catch, he can run.
Yep.
He's kind of like what we hope Javonte could be.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, real... I'm not saying that he can't be, but,
Yeah.
just the way that he stays upright and lateral movement, catch the ball well.
I think, like, Tajay Spears, to me, would be,
that
a
would
great fit. Great fit in Denver. I would like to see that. I mean, honestly, though, like, Javonte, like, to me, though, this is it. Like, I don't know. Like, if it don't go good this year, his value's going to, like, drop like a hammer. I mean, it's going to go down through the floor and into the basement. So it's a real big risk. I mean, it could go right back up if he plays well. But, boy, if you hold and it don't go well, then you're not going to get nowhere near a first, I don't think.
No. Even now, can you think you can get a first for him? Like
I was looking through the browser. I see a lot of seconds.
Oh, you can't even really get a first no more. Not even like the back end, like 12,
a second I'd probably buy, but
I would.
A first I would probably sell. He's weird. He's in a weird realm.
And he's another guy, kind of like Penny. He's got his following. There's a group of people that really like him. Muscles. He's probably the captain of that group. His little pom poms there. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, and that's what I was curious about with Muss. I figured Muss would be a little more fired up, but I think he's kind of semi on the same page with Ty on this one.
Yeah, I mean, the knee does scare me. If it wasn't for the knee, I do. I love the guy. He runs hard. I mean, he plows people over for his size, I think, but
the knee
scares me.
And I don't like the bullshit lies. Like, he's going to be ready, and then, he might not be. So what do we know?
I know. And
why are people even saying that then?
But I think unless you're a contender and you need help and you want to flip them now, I think almost the time to flip them would be like, if you are legitimately worried, I think it's like the week that they're like, yep, he's suiting up, he's ready to go. Then flip him.
I can see
you're
that.
probably going to get a first.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you're saying to hold a little bit longer.
I personally would, unless I was a contender and I needed something now.
But do you think he's a guy where he hasn't had all these accolades where if he misses all this much time, people are going to say Javonte Williams. Oh, yeah, I remember him.
See, I don't think.
You know what I mean?
People
kind of forget about him a little bit.
If it's week 8 and, you're going into week 9 and they're like, oh, yeah, Javonte's going to be back next week, I think people are going to be all aboard that hype train. I think you're going to see that contender that might need a running back.
Might be able to give up that first.
You might get a first out of him. Like I said, I'm still worried about the knee. I don't think I'm buying him for a first.
I think he's a good productive struggle guy. Like, you know what I mean by productive struggle?
Yeah, I do.
You want a better pick, and he isn't probably going to play well if he does.
Yeah.
It's going to be hit and miss.
Right.
So, like, if you're trying to rebuild, he might be a good one to take a gamble on.
Yeah.
And not give a first, but give up, like, a contender, like Derrick Henry or
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
That Alpha League, I traded Derrick Henry for Javonte last year.
yeah. So
I mean,
like,
Javonte tore his ACL, and I
might as well.
Yeah, I
I mean,
was
if
like-
you're not going to win,
right.
just take the gamble, and then maybe. And if you are still worried about it, then like you said, do what you're doing. Try to get a first.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
I don't think I'm trading him for a second.
I'm not either.
No,
and
you-
even Ty said he's not trading him for a
Yeah.
second.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, not at that age. And what he has shown, he's
Yeah.
definitely not worth a second.
right.
Well, let me ask you this: if they draft a running back, are you concerned? I mean, is it going to make you worry anymore?
I don't think
It would
don't
depend
think?
where at, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if they got up and
Like
got Jameer
Bijan
Gibbs,
or-
if they got Bijan or Gibbs, maybe, but I don't think Tajay Spears.
We worry you that much.
No.
See, I think that would worry me, but I'm higher on Taj.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
higher on Taj.
You should have seen Andy's face. He's
But
like,
you know, I mean, they had Hackett, and who was the guy the year before? But like,
Dumb and Dumber.
yeah, they're the ones that put Melvin Gordon in. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Sean Payton's smart enough to ride the hot hand, because it was like, I'd watch them Broncos game, Javonte would run down the
I
field,
know.
and then they'd bring in Melvin Gordon. I don't know
Yeah.
if Javonte was gassed or what, but then they'd run, then the next drive would come out and they'd run Melvin Gordon, and it's like,
What are you doing?
yeah, and I honestly think Sean Payton's smarter than that.
Oh yeah, I do too.
So
he'll at least know how to use his personnel.
yeah,
my only thing is, I think Sean Payton was brought in to do one job, and that's win.
Yeah.
And if Javonte can't be a part of that, then
Right.
he's just going to say, okay.
Yep.
but I
That's what
I
scares
believe
me.
in the talent if the knee holds up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a game of Jenga. Like you pull the blocks and you get closer and you get closer. You're like, you're down to that final block right now with Javonte.
Yeah.
You really are, because this is it. Because like either you get it and you get a big win, you pull it out,
Yeah.
or the whole thing comes crashing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it. But I know Muss, like I said, I couldn't wait to see your reaction.
Yeah,
on that.
I mean, I see the point, but
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm holding until the hype comes a little bit more full circle, because I'm not selling them for a second.
But I like your strategy, because
Yeah.
I mean you can shop around, and if you can't get a one, I think that's the best move.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
For sure. We're going to head over here to Muss for his first pre-NFL draft buy or sell. Who is it, Muss?
I'm going to go with Justin Fields, and
There you go, Muss. Boy.
I personally I like him, and this very well could bite me, because I mean nobody was high on Jalen Hurts, and look at the step forward Jalen Hurts did, but in one quarterback, I was thinking about this today, and I think in one quarterback, I think I'm holding him.
Yes.
One quarterback, it don't really matter. I mean,
Right.
if he pans out and his quarterback one, that's great. If he flames out,
Draft another one.
draft another one. But in Superflex, I like to have a fluid quarterback situation, because if you can have a fluid quarterback situation in Superflex, you're set up for years. If you could somehow, like in our one league, I got Burrow and Herbert. I lucked out and traded for first and ended up getting, Herbert had that, everybody thought he was inaccurate, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm set up for years. Perfect. Justin Fields is a guy that, like, I'm kind of worried that, like, I don't think he's going to – what if in 2 years he peters out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's doing all the right things. They brought in a receiver. They, he's taking, what is it, jiu-jitsu or something to learn how to fall.
Yeah, so like protects his head.
Yeah, so, like, he's doing all the right things. I just personally think he's way overhyped right now.
Oh yeah.
His sleeper ADP is in Superflex is 109.
Oof.
Trevor Lawrence is going behind him.
Yeah, I'd rather have Lawrence.
Give me Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, my God.
Throw in a pick and give me like Herbert. Give me Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just think his where he's going right now, or what he's going for. I have a few trades wrote down here. I have Justin Fields for 324 first, a third, a fourth, and Sam Howell.
Oh, Judas Priest.
Yeah. Justin Fields for 324 first. Fields for Derek Carr and 224 first.
Oh, my.
Fields for Kyler Murray and T. Higgins.
Wow.
So, like, I just think his hype's
I agree with you, man.
is
And
just out of there.
And I think the biggest thing with Fields, and people got to understand this, like, okay, yeah, fantasy, it's wonderful. It's great what he's done. But the thing is, if Chicago does not start winning games
Yeah.
in the next couple years, it's irrelevant. He's gone. And then, yeah, he might get a chance somewhere else, but his leash is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. And if you can get that kind of package, like what you just were saying,
Yeah.
oh, my gosh, I'd sign me up.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the only reason I'm selling. If he I think was going, if he was valued at, I think, like the Dak Prescott tier, I think, I don't think he'd be a sell for me, but.
I wish I could remember the stats, but Rich Rebar came out with this, and he had like the most 20-yard runs. Like it was unsustainable like production in that area.
Right.
He took like a ton of sacks. I wish I could have remembered it and quoted it.
And
but
like that's the thing that I'm scared of is he's not built like Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and even Lamar Jackson built the way he is.
Cam Newton. It always comes back to Cam Newton.
The thing about Lamar though is he's smart, and he's not going to take big hits.
No.
Justin Fields goes into the big hits. I mean,
Cam Newton
last.
didn't. He was 250 pounds.
Exactly. And Cam Newton could throw the football.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just not going to last.
Yeah, I mean, those were the deals in Superflex, and I think if I'm a Superflex team and I see them kind of deals out there, I'm trying to get them because, like I said, I mean, in 2-3 years, is he going to be there? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, he could be. Could very well prove me wrong and be there, but I think I'd rather take all the packages on these and wipe my hands and try to rebuild. And
so
would I. I mean, it's almost like you're on a speeding train. It's time to jump off.
Because I'll be the first to say I don't mind Justin Fields.
I don't either. I
don't mind him, but that's way
I just
too
think
high.
And PFF, I was showing you that one week. PFF had him above Mahomes.
Yeah, I seen that. Everybody really dogged.
Yeah, I mean they dogged him, but like I just think he's way overhyped right now. That's just you're almost getting Patrick Mahomes shit for
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
And like you said, it's almost like at a ceiling. Now, if he takes the Hurts step, I just don't. I love DJ Moore, but he's not AJ Brown.
Right.
I don't mind Darnell Mooney, but he's not Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
Right. And even to your point, if he does take the Jalen Hurts step, are you really going to get that much more for him?
Yeah, exactly. You're buying him at a ceiling.
I mean, yeah.
Do like a Bill Belichick, sell him and then rebuy him for like a first.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the packages and I was like, he's an easy. I love the player. I mean, I do.
I don't
it's like a stock
I know you
market.
don't.
It's like a stock market, man. Even the guy, everybody's for sale.
Yeah,
like at the right price. When they reach their peak value, you got to sell.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You got to get off the train when you know it's time. And the thing is, man, like I'm like you. I think what's really propelled this more, I mean, like his performance last year, fantasy-wise, definitely had a bunch to do with it. But I think the DJ Moore thing has really made it, like, out of control.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're saying, oh, finally, he's got a number one target. But, like, I'm like you, DJ Moore's a nice receiver.
Yeah.
But he's not A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I've touted DJ Moore plenty of times on the show, but I'll be the first to say he is not even close to A.J. Brown.
And like I said, I was looking at the ADP. Lawrence is right behind him. I'd take Lawrence.
Yeah, I'd take Lawrence.
So if you have Field and you can get Lawrence straight up or Lawrence plus.
that might have been a best ball draft, but he was drafted ahead of Herbert. Like, I'd rather have Herbert in Dynasty.
Yeah, I'd trade plus and get Herbert.
Yeah,
I'd trade plus and get Hurts. I'd get one of these
Burrow.
I think honestly, like if I got a package and I knew I was going to get Stroud, I think I'd take that package.
Yeah,
I mean honestly, like for the long haul.
Yeah,
like if I knew, like if someone offered me like the 102 this year in 2023, and I knew I was going to get C.J. Stroud because the other guy's going to get Bijan, and I got like maybe 224 first.
Right.
I'd be more susceptible to do that myself.
Yeah. I mean, you start getting all kinds of different assets and they start hitting. I mean,
yeah.
You know, that's
and the key is it's just not fantasy production, and that's what people got to understand. It's like you got to look at this from all angles, and this is an NFL angle. Like Chicago is trying to build something. Mm-hmm. His time is he's on a clock. You know, that's the thing. Like, I mean, if it doesn't go that well this year, the leash is really going to start turning into a choke collar.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep our eyes on. I really like that, especially for them prices.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about one quarterback league. Hold them in one quarterback.
I have them in our home league. I'm holding them. I mean, what are you going to get for them?
Yeah, you're not really going to get much. And then if he is rushing for 1,000 yards, I mean, that's
a bonus.
Yeah, it is nice. And then you can always easily have, somebody else maybe a little safer behind him.
But he's a prime trade candidate for Superflex.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
For sure, especially at them prices. That's great. We're going to cruise on over here to the A train. His second pre-NFL draft sell, who's it going to be?
It's going to be Mike Evans, 29 years old. He will be 30 by the start of the season. coming off another 1,000-yard seasons. That's 9 straight. Every year he's been in the NFL, he's been a 1,000-yard receiver. So not something to really bat an eye at. That's pretty impressive. He's actually been healthy his whole career. I mean, he misses, kind of like Deontay, though. He does miss games here and there, but majority does play, around 15, 16 a year. Something that's really concerning to me, Baker Mayfield. Not only just his age. I mean, 30's kind of the age apex where I'm like, it's time to kind of look somewhere else. But Baker Mayfield, he's been pretty bad. Didn't throw the ball downfield last year. 31 attempts. That's it. However, he did miss 5 games, was traded to the Rams. So I take a lot of that into consideration. The Rams didn't really have anybody downfield. I mean, I know Van Jefferson can go downfield. He kind of went in there. He didn't do too bad just for, being traded and throwing him into the waters like that.
Right.
Carolina didn't really have anybody, so I kind of gave him a little bit of a pass, but still alarming. Why isn't he throwing? And that's, what I'm thinking. But Kyle Trask, they said that it could be a competition. What if they do roll with Kyle Trask?
It could happen.
And that's kind of scary as well.
That's very scary.
Yeah, so both of them reasons. The Bucs seem to be starting to kind of fall apart. Like they just, I don't know. Seems like Brady kind of held everything together. Now Brady's gone, kind of scrambling on defense. They just need a lot of stuff. What's his name? White, the middle linebacker. Devin White once traded. Like
it's coming all to pieces in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it really is. And so Mike almost missed his 1,000 yards this season. What saved him was Week 17 performance against Carolina, the 207 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he had 6 on the year. He got 3 in one game. He wouldn't have hit 1,000 yards if he wouldn't have had the 207. So his production is starting to go down a little bit. A lot of his touchdowns came from inside the 5-yard line, where Brady just kind of throws it up. Can Baker do this? Like we don't really know. Like
Right.
Like we're comparing him to the GOAT.
Yeah, that's it.
The GOAT with a limp dick noodle arm. So, so I don't know. That kind of worries me. He's someone I would just like to gamble on a younger guy. Like Ty had Bateman last week.
Yep.
I'd love to trade him for like a Bateman, a Brandon Ayuk, Jahan Dotson.
Here's a Lockett straight up.
I feel like that's just kind of
You're going kind of sideways.
Even.
Yeah.
I think the only way you make that move is if you're a contender and you're looking for more production out of Lockett.
Mike Evans for Deontay straight up.
See, I'd rather have Deontay than Mike, just because of the age.
That's
Right.
it in a dynasty setting. I agree with that.
You got any more? That's kind of interesting.
24 first.
See, I'd rather have a 24 first.
Wow.
Mike
Yeah.
Evans and Mixon for T. Higgins. I'd rather have T. Higgins.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, easily.
Connor and Evans for Dalvin Cook. That one's kind of.
Would you take a high second for him? I think that's
and that's what I put in here. I'd really want a first and a 1 quarterback, but in a super flex tight end premium, I think I'd take an early second.
I think I would too.
I think I would, just because if there's somebody there I like somebody maybe I believe in personally. I mean, in 1 quarterbacks, there's somebody there you believe in. You don't need a receiver because I don't know. I'd still probably try Addison. I'd probably try Johnston.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still try all them guys.
Just to get a little
reset
upside.
the clock.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Even if you're a contender, I still think I would do that. He's not invincible. Mike Evans isn't somebody that's super athletic either. Like, he's kind of chubbier. Like, he doesn't really, you know what I mean?
You're right.
He doesn't really, I'm not saying he doesn't take care of his body, but he's not somebody that's going to be in the NFL, like, forever.
Yeah.
Exactly. I could see him maybe playing a couple more years and then being out.
And I think whenever the bottom hits on a guy like Mike Evans, it's going to hit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's going to be basically worthless.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And that's what I was thinking. Like, I was curious to see what you thought. But if someone offered me like a 2-1 to 2-3, I would probably take it.
I would take it. I have Evans in a couple weeks, and I would take it.
Yeah, because I mean, it just, I don't know. I mean, like, you could maybe get another year of decent production, but there's a lot of question marks now.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And then, like Ty and you both said, I mean, I could see this being like a 2 to 3 year window at most for Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I really like what you said too about like resetting the clock.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
And he purely wins on touchdowns, air yards, like down the field. So if he gets a little bit older, he ain't going to win with his route running. And if he can't really out jump some of these corners,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go check out his highlight reel when he played with Jameis Winston. It was just bombs.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
he can't do that no more.
I don't think his ceiling's going to, or his value is going to get really any higher, but I could almost see him. I don't know what his contract situation's like. I could see him almost if the
He's there
Buccaneers
for 2 more years.
If the Bucs go through this huge rebuild, he's going to either A, retire because he's not going to want to deal with it, or B, he's going to request a trade and he's going to go elsewhere.
And he's on there for 2 more years. I looked at that.
Okay,
so I was wondering if they could cut him, but it's like an astronomical amount this year. So he's definitely there unless traded this year.
Right.
And next year, and that would depend on who takes the cap and, everything like that.
Yeah.
And next year, I think he'd be making $12 million and his dead cap's like $12 million. So he's not going to be cut.
Right.
Yeah. If anything, it's got to be a trade.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, that's like going back to taking the early second, I would, because if you hold him and he does put up okay production, you go to the trade deadline, who's buying him? A contender.
Yeah.
So what, you're going to get like the 110 in the 24 draft? I mean, really, like this is a chance just to make sure that you get a good amount, a good value for him.
Yeah.
I think like you're not really going to lose much, even if you hold him and he does better than people think. Mm-hmm. Like I think like now would be just as good as later. I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
yeah, for sure. And, I think, like, if he could be traded, like, it would have to be the right spot for him to have a resurgence. Like, it would have to be the exact perfect landing spot. Because, like you said, he's not going to out-athletic anybody.
No.
That's just not his game. He's not one of these athletic freaks. I mean, he's just a big guy that can out-jump people in his prime.
Right.
And, was kind of a bully-type receiver.
Yep.
But we're going to head on over to me here. It's going to be my second pre-NFL draft sell. And it's going to be Tony Pollard, running back, Dallas Cowboys. Going back to what Ty said earlier, I'm going to start this off. If I can't get a first for Tony Pollard, I'm not selling him. But I know there's a lot of people out there that are still getting first.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I'm telling you guys, I don't know. Like, this is more of a gut feel to me. Like, it's really hard because some of these guys are slam dunks. I mean, we just didn't want to come on here and say, we're going to sell this guy because it's easy. This, to me, is like it could go either way. But in my gut, I think like this is the perfect time to sell him. He's 25 years old. Dallas, I have a strange suspicion. If Philly passes on Bijan, I could see Dallas taking him. I just have a feeling like that's the Jerry Jones pick. It's a Texas kid staying in Texas.
Yep.
And if that happened, Tony Pollard would be destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, and now he's coming off this serious ankle injury. I think it was an ankle, right, that he was dealing with.
Yep.
He's coming off this serious ankle injury. It was really bad. Cost him his season last year. And, he showed them glimpses, and the guy is a talented football player, but, like, I just don't know. I think that his window has a better chance of closing than staying open. That's just my gut feeling on him. Even if he plays in Dallas this year, he's on the franchise tag, which he did sign. Will he return there next year? And if he does go to another team, will he be utilized the same way Dallas utilizes him? Mm-hmm. I just think there's so many question marks with Tony Pollard. I think the better move would be if I could get a first, I would just feel better about it. Try to use that pick, like Ann said, try to reset the clock a little bit and try to get someone, that could help my team, a young player, bring in and try to hit with that pick. I just don't trust Tony Pollard. I don't trust it. I haven't seen enough. I've seen a good amount. I think he's a talented player, but I just think there's too many question marks, and my gut's telling me to sell. I want to see what you guys think.
I can't remember when he was drafted. He was a later round pick, I believe. Right?
Yeah, he was out of Memphis. Yep.
So whenever guys are later round picks, like it's so hard to trust them because the organizations just don't value him. Like I think Tony Pollard's a great player.
I agree.
I really do, but I could easily. They're the same thing. Like you look behind him now that Zeke's gone. I mean, they got Malik Davis and Rico Dwaddle. I don't know if I'm about botching it, but
you see that depth chart and it scares you.
It is scary. So do they do they trade for a Dalvin Cook? Do they trade for a Derrick Henry? Do they draft somebody?
I did see rumors that they wanted Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think I might have seen some rumors about that too.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things that he's going to be battling against. Plus he broke his ankle when that was against San Francisco. That was a playoff. Yeah, it was a playoff game.
In the playoffs.
Yeah. So he might not be 100% start the season.
And he's going to have to be the bell cow if they don't get anybody.
Yeah.
And is he on the franchise tag this
yes,
year?
He is.
That too. So.
And then he's 25. I don't know his birthday, but he could be 26. So Tony Pollard's somebody that has all the talent. I really like him, but could easily just be like in 10 years. Oh, you remember Tony Pollard? Oh, yeah. You know.
The Peyton Hillis.
He's turning
26 in a week.
Yep. 26 in a week.
30th of April. Yep.
He must have came out of school a little bit late. I think he's in the 2020 class. So
Yeah, I think 2019.
2019?
Yeah.
I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean.
It's like the clock's ticking on him to me. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much against him. Like, he's the kind of guy, like, I think it's going back to, like, Javonte. It's kind of a similar situation.
Yeah.
I think this injury really hurt him.
Yeah.
It hurt, like, not his fantasy value, because I think a lot of people still value him pretty well. But,
His
like, his
dynasty value. Like,
Yeah.
Just from a dynasty, not necessarily from a yearly, but, like, just overall, man.
yeah, it's just like this, this really hurt him. And like Mus said, we've heard about Derrick Henry.
Yep.
I did hear that too with Dallas. I also, Bijan, I'm telling you guys, if the Eagles pass, I have a strange feeling that he'll end up in Dallas.
Yeah.
And-
I just think he will.
And if you guys think about it, really, I mean, he was a 4th-round pick, 128th overall. All of the stud running backs in the league, they're 1st-round picks.
Yeah.
Or early 2nd-round picks. They're never 4th, 5th, 6th-round pick guys.
Right. Like, even James Robinson, like, he looked so good. And then just the opportunity was just gone. Like, after he tore his ACL, unfortunately.
Look how Elijah Mitchell did with San Francisco. He
Yeah.
did solid, and what did
Yeah.
they do? They
Right.
traded for
Yeah,
Christian
I mean,
McCaffrey.
it's like Saquon, he went in the 1st. Christian McCaffrey, he went in the 1st. Najee went in the 1st.
Even guys like Penny, who I just talked about selling, getting another opportunity after all these injuries because he's a 28th overall pick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
and I think that's the key here. Like, and people are getting first.
Yeah.
So
I would take a first.
Oh, so would I.
Freaking fast.
And I think like I don't know the majority, because I'm in a lot of leagues. I know you guys are in a lot of leagues, but like the majority of the time when he's being sold, I mean it's a first is involved. So I mean you're going to get a good capital back, but I just think like now's your time to cash in the chips, because next year it ain't like he's going to be worth any more.
yeah.
And I just think it's too big of a gamble to hold him. I just would just trade him, and I just don't trust the whole process with Dallas. They could do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they could Derrick Henry. That could really happen. That could be serious. Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen too, because the Vikings are trying to unload them guys, and
And even Austin Eckler said he wants to trade. What I mean,
Yeah.
that would be a nice.
so
fit.
many crazy things could
You
happen.
guys see Dalvin Cook might go to Miami. Dalvin Cook wants
I did
to go to
see
Miami.
that.
Oh yeah.
He's from Florida, so that would be a nice
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, like too, where was Ezekiel Elliott drafted?
Yeah, first round.
First round.
By who? The Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and where was Emmitt Smith drafted? The first round by the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So and that's what I said, I just got a strange suspicion. If the Eagles balk on Bijan at 10, or if they don't trade back in front of the Cowboys, and they don't take him, I think he's going to Dallas.
Yeah, I
they,
could see
They
it.
normally take the flashy players. So.
I could
Yep.
see it.
Yep. So
He's
I-
a Texas guy.
Yep. There's just too many concerns there. Tony Pollard's value ain't going to go up to 2 first or a first and a high second. It's going to stay right around that first round pick. Get it now. Get out from under him. Get that leg injury, that ankle injury. Just get away from all that stuff.
Yep.
Get a nice pick and try to rebuild and get another player.
We
through.
got to kind of start thinking like NFL teams too. Like I feel like the dynasty community values running backs so high.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And the NFL obviously just doesn't. Like
Right.
nobody's really a bell cow anymore. Like
Nope.
nobody really goes in the first round anymore. Very rarely.
Right. And I think as a dynasty community, we got to value these picks more.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, we
because
do.
that's
Draft
how you-
capital has to matter.
It does, and that's how you turn and burn these running backs. Like you don't go out and get a Tony Pollard.
No.
Stay away from all that.
Yeah.
Get
Yep.
yourself a pick or a couple picks. Try to draft some of these guys, because if you could hit, man, you could take off like a rocket.
Yep.
So that's what you want to do. And I really like that point, and I think that's really smart. Try to stay away from these old aging guys. Don't overpay for them.
Yep.
And like I said, Tony Pollard ain't going to be worth any more than what he is now. So I definitely sell him. But we're going to cruise over here to Ty. Ty, your second pre-NFL draft sell. Who's it going to be?
Well, I already went after Muss, so I guess now it's Andy's turn. I got DJ Moore. And, I think we know why, but I'll get to that. But I'm just going to say first, Cole Kmet led the Bears last year in receiving yards and touchdowns, 544 yards, which is abysmal, and 7 touchdowns.
Abysmal.
And the next closest on the touchdowns was Dante Pettis with 3. We just seen Chase Claypool go there for a second-round pick. He put up 140 yards and 0 touchdowns in 7 games. That's 20 yards per game. It's just simply not good enough. And obviously, it's not the player. It's not DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore's a fantastic player. I've said it on this show before. I think he's great. But it's Justin Fields. I don't think he's going to hit the levels of being able to throw the football. I mean, you can just tell. You can tell if is going to be able to be elite at throwing the football or not. He misses so many open players. Yeah, he makes a couple really nice throws, but the thing is, if you get on Twitter and people say Justin Fields can't throw the football, it's like 5 clips. It's the same fucking throws every time. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You're getting fed up with that, aren't you?
No, I really am. But I don't know, man. It's just the quarterback situation there in Chicago, and I'm sure people want to rip my head off for talking crap on Fields, but it's just how it is. By the time DJ Moore gets off the Chicago Bears, he's going to be right around 29, 30 years old. He's still going to be there for 3 years. Plus, he could get re-signed. I'm kind of out on Moore now, especially at that landing spot. I know he's played with bad quarterbacks before, but it isn't getting any better in Chicago. If you can get a first-round pick, I would like that a lot.
Andy's starting to get a little bit older. I mean, unfortunately, I'm like you. I love DJ Moore, the player.
Know.
It's just he finds himself in these bad situations. You know, it's like when he got traded, it's like, how could it get any worse? Well, it might not have got worse, but it sure didn't get any better.
Right.
You know, it's like, boy, you know, you just like to see him with elite quarterback play one time.
Right.
But it just, I'm like Ty. There's a lot of inconsistencies there. I mean, I think now it would be a good time to get out from under him because if he tanks in Chicago, his value is probably going to go down even more because people are going to say, well, you know, you didn't really play that terrifically in Carolina. Mm-hmm. Now you're having troubles with Chicago.
That's supposed to be an upgraded quarterback.
Yeah, like now we all know that it really isn't an upgrade for him. I mean, unless Justin Fields surprises the hell out of all of us, which I would be surprised. But, I mean, it's not going to get any better, you know.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I absolutely love DJ Moore.
I tell you what, he's going for a lot.
Is he really?
DJ Moore, Chris Godwin for A.J. Brown.
Oh, my gosh.
DJ Moore in a second for Tyreek Hill.
Whoa.
Wow.
And DJ Moore for 24 first.
I could swing any of them trades. I make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to feel bad for Moore though. I mean, even in college, he had 8 different quarterbacks at Maryland.
Yeah.
I mean, he just can't get a guy to throw him the football.
He can't get like in a permanently good situation
because he does still put up good stats in Carolina. Imagine if the guy had a elite quarterback. I mean, he'd be fantastic. But
And when he had Sam Darnold for that little stretch, like I was like, holy shit! Like I mean, he was just tearing it up.
He had a nice little connection with Darnold.
Yeah, he did. And then I don't know. I'm definitely worried. I mean, I'd definitely take any of them trades Mustard. Besides the 24, it would have to be depending where it's at. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I'm still just curious. Like,
I don't blame you.
I'm curious because he's. I believe in the talent. I just do.
The situations are way different, so I'm not trying to compare the two. But I mean, we were all sitting here last year and saying the same thing about Jalen Hurts, and look at the step he took.
Yeah,
I mean, it could happen. The chances are
probably not.
Probably not. But like I'm right there with you. I'm curious myself. Like
you play the percentages.
Yeah, you got to play the percentage. Chances are that's not going to happen.
No, it's not gonna happen. You can bookmark that. You can bookmark that.
I'll tell you, Muscles and Ty better be careful. The Chicago faithful, the bear down team.
Come on, boys.
They'll be coming down.
Oh, yeah.
Chi-Town, you guys, you disrespected them. 2 cells out of Chi-Town.
Yeah, they
Garbage.
did. They did get a hell of a package though for the number 1 pick.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did.
I think as a franchise, they are doing the right things.
They are.
Like,
They have.
I honestly think like on the off chance something would happen with them, like they've done well.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like they made the right moves. I mean, up to this point, like that trade was a good trade for them.
Yeah.
Really good
Even
trade.
where they drafted Justin Fields, I mean.
Yeah, would they get him at 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't like they had to overdraft him anyhow.
No, they didn't trade up or nothing, so.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't know. Like I said, I'll just say I'm a little bit curious. I hopefully they find ways to get DJ Moore the ball, but it could easily, it could easily fall out. I mean, I'm being realistic here.
Definitely. So you're saying 1 first-round pick ain't enough right now for you?
Depends where it's at.
Yeah, it depends where it's at. See, I would rather,
Where's the sweet spot? 5, 6?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah, I mean, a Superflex tight end premium, I think I could do like 10 at the latest.
Yeah.
You could go to 10?
Yeah, and then in the 1 quarterback, maybe like 6.
Yeah, because like the weird thing is
5.
like, I mean, everybody wants the dog on Justin Fields again, but it's like Dante Pettis was the number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Hey, they got Chase Claypool for a second.
Yeah.
No. I would get any first I could get them off. Because I think after this year, I think the ship's going to start sinking. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I am.
This is what's so fun about Dynasty, though. Like, I mean, we all love Dynasty, and we all have different,
right?
You know,
yeah, everyone has different opinions.
That's how trades happen. I think. Like I said, I just want to see what happens, I think.
But I think consensusly we can all agree that if it's a fair first, we would accept it.
Yeah. And I think what makes it a little bit harder for me is I don't trust a lot of these receivers in this class.
Right.
Like if I'm trying to get a draft pick, like...
Yeah.
It would have to be 24. That's what I go back. Like if you're hunting a receiver out of this class and you can't get JSN, you almost are better served to move into 2024 and gamble there.
Yeah, it's going to be a better class anyhow, I think.
I would, but then what if he ends up tearing it up and it's like, shit, you're waiting 2 years for your...
Well, for sure. I guess it just depends, like, if you're...
What your team situation
is.
Yeah.
If you're a straight rebuilder and you ain't going to win in the next 2 to 5 seasons, like right away... I mean, and that's something that's all like I'm okay with. You know,
the only thing is with DJ Moore, he's always at least hitting like 800 yards. I mean, Justin Fields barely even threw for 2,000 total last year.
Right.
So I just don't see him even hitting 800 yards.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
And you know, the one thing it does worry me a little bit though, like too with that, and it just kind of hit me. Him and Mooney kind of play like similar styles.
Yeah, they do. They do.
A good receiving core usually, you know, you got a variety. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it kind of gives you an uneasy feeling there too.
Right.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting. But like I said, I think consensusly we all can agree if it's a fair first.
Yep.
I think we would move them.
Yep.
We're going to cruise over here to Muss. It's going to be the last one of the day. Muss, your second pre-NFL draft sell.
We're waiting, Muss.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm going to sell George Pickens.
You just wait, young man.
Well, Steelers must be really confident in him bringing in Allen Robinson.
Oh boy! Somewhere George Pickens just shit himself.
Okay, all I'm saying is, in Superflex startups, he's going 4.09 on average. I just think that's a little too high.
4 point in the fourth round.
Fourth round, fourth round, ninth pick.
Wow.
And he's going wide receiver 24 off the board. Actually going ahead of Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
you would take Deontay over George Pickens?
I would, yeah.
I don't think I would.
Yeah.
I think I would.
Now, I think a lot of his struggles I think it's Matt Canada. I will say that because he has the most go routes out of any receiver with 221. Second place, Mike Evans with 177.
Wow.
So basically they were just like,
yeah, just go downfield.
Just go downfield, and I don't think we had the quarterback for that. Now, I was watching highlights, and he's a great route runner, so I don't know why the hell, you know, but I don't know. I mean, that just kind of alarmed me there. It was like, that's why I think he's going so high because of his nice catches.
Yeah, and I said that too. Of the highlight
he's
reel.
getting like the Odell Beckham treatment, where Odell makes the one-handed catch, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, this guy's so great!"
Yeah.
Did you happen to have the Denver game on while Pittsburgh was playing?
Yeah,
because I'm going to let you finish, but I think, oh man.
Now, on the flip side, 36 receivers since 2000 drafted in the first and second rounds put up 800 yards as a rookie. And then 24 of the 36 did it in year 2. So, I mean, the chances are he's going to do it again. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I feel like you're drafting him at a ceiling. Like, I don't see him as a wide receiver 1.
I do.
I don't. In the trades I see, Pickens and Sam Howell for Chris Olave, I'd rather have Olave.
Not me.
Pickens, yeah, I'd rather go Olave.
Pickens. Now, this trade was before the Josh Jacobs news. Pickens for Josh Jacobs. Depending on what your team needs, I'd probably rather have Jacobs.
Yeah.
Running back, though, in Dynasty, I think I would...
That's close.
It was close.
Yeah,
I think I'd keep Pickens, though.
Pickens for T. Higgins straight up.
Oh, I'd take T. Higgins.
Yeah. Pickens for Debo straight up.
See, I think I'd rather go Pickens.
But
it's close. It's close.
Yeah. But, like, I just think you're trading and drafting him at wide receiver 1-ish numbers, and he finished wide receiver 39 last year.
Yeah.
And I don't
I don't ever see him in the top 12. I see him like, I'm hoping he can take that step forward and get enough targets to where he's like 19, 20.
I was just going to say, I think what you're going to see with George Pickens a lot is going to be around T. Higgins numbers.
He's a lot like Martavis Bryant, I feel like. Like, he's kind of the downfield, you know.
Yeah.
He can make some great catches, and he is a good route runner.
Right, yeah. And, like, that's what a lot of people were saying, like, the contested catches, like, he was number one in it, but, like, that's because he can't get open. But I started watching, it's like he just goes deep. Like, and he's not burning anybody. He's just going deep. And, I mean, that might be a Matt Canada thing. Like, maybe if they get a new offensive coordinator and they're like, we'll do something more than go routes, he could very well.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong on this. But
I think I see what you're getting at, but I think this would be the worst possible time to trade him because I think he's super undervalued right now.
Yeah, I just think he's overvalued.
People think that Jahan Dotson's better.
A super flex?
Do you think people think Jahan Dotson's better than George Pickens?
I like Dotson.
Yikes, Moss.
Yikes, Moss.
Do you have him in any leagues?
I don't, actually.
Oh, what a shame. But no, I just from what I've seen, the guy kind of struggled last year. But if you watch Steelers games, you can tell this guy's going to be a freak.
Yeah, I mean, he very well could.
They run him on go routes, but it doesn't matter. If you throw him the football, 9 times out of 10, he's coming out. He's coming down with the football. If you get him open, this guy is going to rip teams apart. He had over 800 receiving yards, and our pass game was terrible last year. Deontay Johnson didn't even have a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think right now that's a terrible time. I think he's so undervalued, it's disgusting. I think he has a potential to be a top 10 receiver in the whole league.
If you're in a super flex at 409, are you taking him?
I don't know about Superflex 409, but that doesn't matter. That's one person, Moss.
No, that's the sleeper ADP.
Well, that's
I'd like to see who's around there.
Yeah, I'd like to see who's around there as well. But I seen a thing. They ranked the top 4 rookie wide receivers last year: Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jahan Dotson, Pickens. Almost every person had Pickens last.
Yeah, I probably would have.
I wouldn't. Yeah. There's no way.
I tend to agree with Ty. Like, I don't know, man. I see a guy that, to me, he can be a dominator.
Oh.
And that's what I look for in a wide receiver. Like, Jahan Dotson's a fine player, but I don't think he's going to dominate.
He's not.
He's not a number one.
No. Yeah, like, he has a safer floor, but to me, George Pickens' ceiling is way up there. And, that's kind of even like, like A.J. Brown, like his style of play. Like, he can just dominate you. And right. I feel like Pickens can do that. He was knocking defensive backs on their asses this year.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as a rookie. So, like, he has that attitude, and he's got the size.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. Like, I just see there's more ceiling there. I think that's why, like, but, like, I see what you're saying. Like, in a way, I could, like, if you got the right deal, maybe. But, like, I see what Ty's saying, too. Like, I think a lot of people just, like, looked at our offensive performance and thought, like, I don't want any part of that.
And like, based on his stats, it wasn't really impressive. But if you watch Steelers games, you can tell this guy's going to be really, really good, in my opinion. I mean, you can just tell. I mean, he's going to be a superstar. I mean, I could look back 2 years from now and be like, look like an idiot, but I don't think I will be.
And you look at Allen Robinson coming in now, like, I really like that. Like, that is a veteran pro that can help him even more, so, and I don't know, but I just see a big physical dominating type guy that has a ceiling to me.
Yep.
Like Olave. I like Olave.
Oh, I do too.
I like him a lot, but to me, he doesn't have a huge ceiling. He's going to be one of these big time, high reception guys.
He's going to be the second best behind Garrett Wilson.
Right, exactly.
In my opinion.
Like Garrett Wilson, big plays.
Yeah.
I could see Pickens falling right into that line.
Yep.
Like Olave, Dotson, great fantasy guys, great flex guys, especially because I think, like, catches. But, like, with these guys, like, they could go off. Like, that's just the way I look at it. I mean, how do you feel personally?
I like him. I see what Muss is saying, too, like with the highlight reel catches and stuff. I don't know. It's hard to trust Matt Canada. I do think Kenny Pickett took a step forward, though.
Yeah.
And I do think there should be good ways to implement them, but are they?
Because, like I said, I've watched highlights, and, I mean, he runs great routes. I don't know why they ran him on go routes so many times. So, I mean, if Matt Canada actually runs routes with him. I mean, he very well. I could be wrong. Like, get the ball in his hands.
Maybe they were just sending him downfield to clear everything out underneath.
Yeah.
Just because he's such a threat. You know, I mean,
because Kenny Pickett isn't a guy that's going to chuck it 40 yards every time.
No, he's more of a chuck,
And that's not Matt Canada's system either. He likes to play the check down gamey. But the thing is with Canada, it don't worry me that much because if it's bad this year,
exactly.
He's gone.
I was just going to say that.
And he's young enough that he can recover from it too. I mean, he's 22 years old.
Like, I think if you could get like a good overpay from someone that is hyped up, I'm okay with it for sure. But like, I'm like Ty, like, I definitely be careful because like there's still to me like we're going into year 2 and you got someone to me like it has a ceiling.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. Like if it was more of a floor guy, I'd be like, okay, is what it is. But like a ceiling, it's like, man, you just see the possibilities.
See, I think if ranking back that class, I think I'd rather have Wilson, Jameson Williams, Olave. And him and Christian Watson are close to me. Like that's where I probably have him ranked.
Yeah, I'd probably have Pickens over Watson just because of the quarterback.
And that's a good point too. Like Christian Watson, he's not getting a lot of love either.
No, he really isn't.
I mean, the guy he's a big play guy too.
Yeah.
To me, out of that whole group, him, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, to me have ceiling.
Yeah.
The other guys are more floor, but they're safe.
Yeah.
So it's just you're really taking a gamble, but like that's like both of your arguments. Like that's the flip side of the coin.
I just think if you're going to get a wide receiver 1 return in a trade package, I think you got to take it.
Oh yeah,
and like that's what I mean. T. Higgins.
I would take T. Higgins.
I'd probably take T. Higgins too.
I mean Olave, I could see being a number 1. So it's like how an Olave for Pickens.
Nah, I wouldn't. I just don't think Olave is going to be good. And he just doesn't. I don't know. I don't know. And it's not Steelers bias. I don't think Jameson Williams is going to be better.
I mean, he's got Derek Carr now.
I like Olave.
Wow.
It's a lot
Derek Carr. His eyes lit up. Is he going to head to Detroit after his stint with New Orleans?
What did he finish?
Looked like a kid on Christmas when he said Derek Carr. Wow.
But
he's a heck
what
of a
did Olave
quarterback.
finish with Andy Dalton? And
it doesn't matter, Moss.
He was wide receiver 25.
He had a good year. He did. I just think Pickens is going to be better. I'm not saying Olave's garbage. I think Olave's good. But I think he's going to be better than Jameson. I think he's going to be better than Olave, Dotson, and Watson, but not Garrett Wilson.
I honestly think, like, 1 for 1, I couldn't do Pickens for Olave. I mean, it's, to me, like, you're taking a gamble. Like, if you were scared, you're going to get someone that has a good floor, and it could work out. But, boy, if you traded Pickens and he could do what he's capable of doing and dominating you, you could really regret that. That's my only thing. Like, it would be close, but that's a tough call.
Yeah, right. Well, last thing I'm going to say is just if you're going to trade him, watch out. I mean, I wouldn't trade him for garbage because I'm telling you, man, he's going to be good.
You like the ceiling.
Oh.
Yeah, the ceiling.
Yep.
That's what, hey, we all look for different things. I mean, that ceiling in Dynasty is important. I mean, you got to have a guy that has that potential. We see it at the Combine. I mean, look at Anthony Richardson.
Right.
I mean, everyone's saying ceiling.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing in Dynasty.
Yeah.
You got to watch out for that. But that was it, man. That's going to wrap up the pre-NFL draft sell show. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really, really good. We're getting so close to the NFL draft.
Was it next week?
Next week.
Next week.
Can't wait. The schedule, what we got going on. We're going to be doing a all-time NFL draft steals Jeopardy here at the end of this week. We're going to be doing 2 shows. So you guys will be getting another one, a fun one, kind of a loose one before the draft.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing another show. It's going to be our last mock draft predictions before the show.
Yep.
So we're going to be doing one more mock draft before the live NFL draft party. We're going to be doing 2 shows that week, too. We're going to be doing the mock draft. Then we're going to be doing the live NFL draft party.
Right, and we have a bunch of people coming on, so you'll get to see. I don't know who all is scheduled.
Oh, we got Mike Kashuba.
Okay.
Yep. We got Aiden Grover, Candid Fantasy Football. I think we're going to have Ashton at Peak 1. And with Fantasy Football Garage. He's going to be coming on, so we're going to have a handful of people coming on with us. So it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking some ball, asking some questions.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of good fun. And like I said, and we're going to be giving the helmet away.
Yep,
we're going to be giving more information out on that next week or at the end of this week during the Jeopardy show. We're going to figure out the system on how we're going to do the giveaway. But everything's in position. Everyone that's entered, we got you all locked in. You'll be ready to go. It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that. So the Bijan Robinson signed mini helmet sweepstakes, guys. You got a week left. Muscles even put on there. He's like, you got to get in on this, baby, at the last minute.
Yep.
He put it on the quote. So don't worry. He's not entered. Muscles is not entered.
No.
He tried, but I knew it was him. And Andy, what'd you put on there? Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation. She's a beaut, Clark.
Oh, yeah. Yep, she is.
So sign Bijan Robinson, sign mini helmet sweepstakes, guys. If you want to enter, first way you can win, follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Retweet a pic of the helmet pick. You could be entered once. Subscribe to YouTube. Screenshot it over on Twitter in the comments on YouTube, and you could be entered twice. We got a week left. It's going to be a lot of fun to give it away. Another thing to mention again, guys, Peak One Sports Network. We're teaming up with them. Everything sports all the time. Go over and see them. They got the best stuff over there. Great content. A lot of fun, different shows, like I mentioned about, like, you know, the teams relocating and stuff. Great stuff. I mean, really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that show. It was great.
Definitely.
You guys won't be disappointed. Check them out. If you want to follow them on Twitter, follow them over at Peak One Sports on Twitter. You'll find them over there, and you won't be disappointed. And a couple things to mention, as always, follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon, Google. We're on all the big podcasting platforms, guys. The DNA Strand Crew, you guys are the best. I say it week in, week out. I won't stop saying it because we do appreciate your support. You guys are the best. Make sure you subscribe to us over at YouTube. We'll be coming to you here in a couple days with the all-time NFL draft steals, the Game of Jeopardy.